Hello, good morning, everyone. So glad to be here today after my pause last week. Hope you all are doing well. I started a video earlier and had to kind of cut out, and so I'm just going to restart the video and welcome anyone who wants to join with me today and kind of discuss what's been going on. So hope you all have been doing well these past couple weeks. It's definitely been intense, and that's part of the reason I was asked to kind of step back. I woke up the morning last week on Monday and it was like, nope, there is nothing to come through, nothing I need to present. I need to go within and do the work, listen to the messages, and kind of recalibrate for myself here. And I hope that that example is something that you can take and apply to and for yourself in your life, giving you permission to take the steps to do the things that you need to do on an intuitive level, like the information you get, so then you can show up more wholly. If I had come in last week just because of expectation, either from others or myself, and not been fully on board, the quality of what I would be providing wouldn't be there. And nobody wants the dirt from the bottom of the well. You want some water. And so that's my goal here, just to bring some good, really really delicious water here for y'all to drink. Okay, so I've already pulled some cards. I got 5. I asked for 1. Whatever. That's how Spirit rolls. And I'm just the messenger here, bringing it through. But let me just give you kind of a heads up here. Like, we're in new territory, and I've been talking about this, and even in the group healing this past Saturday, we talked about it as well. It kind of just feels like, ooh, what's that? That's a new sensation. That's like, kind of like, it brings me back to my husband had surgery on his sinuses, and they stuck a thing up his nose really far and had to pull it out, and I watched his face as these kind of pinchers kind of went up his nose, and I was like, oh my gosh, the sensation, the feeling, the whoa, and that's kind of what we've been in here. It's not pretty, it's not comfortable, and it can make you a little nauseous, or just bring up all your stuff. So let me actually go through the cards I pulled, because that's going to, that's going to set us up for what I'm going to talk about. These cards take us on a journey, as they always do, lining up what Spirit has to bring through for us. So I'm going to show you them, and then we'll do a quick read on each. Okay, so we have 26, which is the full spectrum card. The next one is Air, which is Paradigm Shift. This came in for the group healing as well this past weekend. And again, this is taking us through the journey. Like, She of the Lotus is the next one, and this is the shadow part that we're kind of building up to, and we're going through now. Then we go into the healing, and then we go to the last one, which is Fire, which creation, new. So let me read a little bit about this. The full spectrum is really bringing kind of like heaven to earth, etc. Creating heaven on earth by honoring the perfection of nature cycles, going beyond the judgment of good and bad, merging of duality. And this is another thing with the going beyond judgment of good and bad. That's part of what we're playing with here, because there's a lot of labeling that wants to happen. A lot of our stuff wants to be put in boxes, and we just, it's not of highest service for yourself and your own like kind of sanity and well-being to label all this. It's good to have an understanding, but to label it is going to limit it, which limits you, which is exactly the opposite of what you are moving from. You're moving from the limitation into freedom. And so we want to support that with more expansive mindsets. Okay. Going beyond the judgment of good and bad, merging of duality, raw nature, earth wisdom, connecting to ancestors, shadows as the fertile soil for exponential growth. Okay, so, all the shitty stuff that's coming up, all the hard things, this is where the action is. This is where the opportunity is. Most people beeline it out of here because they're like, oh, If it's think of like a field that's just been fertilized, it's stinky, you know, oh, I don't want to be here. Well, this is where the great action happens. You just got to sit and you got to wait, you got to be with it. You got to tend the soil, you got to water the seeds, etc. And the way forward is in the whisperings of the land, honoring the full spectrum of life. Okay. So, next one, air, is paradigm shift, an innovative way of existing, new earth energies again. Inspiring others, fresh air, flying higher than you have before, more expansive perspectives, consciousness shifts. So this is, again, leading us, you know, bit by bit on this journey. Okay. She of the Lotus. This is the one that I think is going to be the most helpful for y'all, or affirming. You know, like this is, if you're here, then, well, she's here to affirm that for you. Shadow work, addressing dissonance, seeing downfalls as the flip side of superpowers. Loving yourself back to wholeness, the beautiful lotus that grows from murky waters, disempowering triggers, bringing light into your dark corners. Yeah. So this is where, this is called work. W-O-R-K. Hi. So if you want all these other things and the healing, you gotta do the work. Okay, so next one is healing, and let's see here. Energy rebalance, energetic awareness, healing yourself and others, exploring healing modalities, the chakra system, your unique and innate ability to heal, color vibration, soul sovereignty, auras and the meridian system, aligning to the highest good and optimal health. Yes, and so aligning yourself, setting your intentions every day, that's going to kind of just get you on the railroad tracks, because there's a lot of blustery winds going on around here. It could kind of, you know, knock you off, but at least if you know where your train tracks are, you know that you're a train, that you go, this is how you fit on here, this is how it normally goes, in terms of your soul growth, in terms of your emotional awareness, in terms of your spirit self being incarnated and embodied in your physical form. If you know these things, it will be easier to stay on track and to get clear after, you know, the blustery winds kind of come around and the deeper healings happen. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so last one is fire. It's a 15th card in the deck. Duality, creation, Kundalini, the rising phoenix, bringing conflict into harmony, intensity, transformation, the incredibleness of being alive, coalescence, infinite energy. Okay, and so with this card, I just want to say passion, motivation, and destruction. So we have like these intense feelings, and then at the same time there are destructive forces happening, and the destruction is all in service of taking down what wasn't working so you can build what's new, what's ready to come in. So it's beautiful that it combines the passion with the destruction, because you know you're moving forward into something new, but it gives you the material to take down the old stuff. Okay, but it also it brings in illumination, it takes determination, inner light, forging forward, and transformation. Okay, so this has been very helpful to kind of guide us through. I'm going to put these out here just to hold the space as I talk about this new territory we're in. A friend of mine reached out and just asked me how I was doing, and I felt like a rhetorical question, but I responded anyway. I responded with a combination of letters that sound like blurg. So check in with yourself. Have you been feeling this way? It just kind of, it feels weird. And when I tap into it, especially like the past 3 or 4 days, it kind of just feels like a heaviness, and you can't quite identify one thing over the other being an issue, but you just feel the issue. And if it's not right now, you probably, if you're in a human body here, you've probably felt this before. It's just this general sense of, ugh, and all the little things are being pinged. So what's happening from where I'm standing here is that our psyche is being pinged like crazy. And it's like our psyche kind of functions like a big giant sticky ball, and it just picks up stuff as it goes around, rolls around. So you got twigs and string and hair and feathers and dirt and lint, it just has all the things on it. And historically, we've just known that we just pick up stuff, and we have identified ourselves as this sticky ball with all these random things stuck to us. And what's happening is we're beginning to have the opportunity to see that our identity is not the sticky ball that picks up all the stuff, and that stuff on the ball isn't us. We're more than that. And also, an added benefit of what's going on is that the stickiness of this ball is becoming less, where sure, some things adhere to it, but not as much. It doesn't stay around as long. It's not like super glue anymore. But we have to catch up to that. So there's this pause in between, is like we begin to disidentify with the stickiness and the ball and all the stuff as being ours. And we're really just, that ball is there and picking up things to give us an experience here. And so we're having the opportunity to step back and say, hey, I see all these things that my psyche is picking up. And it's it's labeling these things as mine and putting it into categories and saying, oh yeah, this goes with my 5-year-old self, and that was when I was 3, and that's what my dad said, and then this goes over here with my 3rd significant other, and oh yeah, that's about that other house. And so it starts to label all of these random things it picks up and put them in boxes and then say, that's yours. And it's kind of it's kind of a mindfuck, It's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? But this is part of the experience of being here and the forgetting. And so you can be so distracted with all the things that are being, told that that's yours, identified as yours, and you're having to sort it all out. It distracts you from focusing on the essence of who you truly are. And what's happening is that paradigm and the new paradigm of remembering who you are as not a sticky ball, as, just a beam of light, let's say, it's becoming more apparent. Like we're transitioning from the sticky ball into this beam of light. This analogy, forgive the analogy if it's a little confusing, but I hope pieces of it make sense. It kind of came in as a really big concept. And so take the elements of this that are working for you, but we're in this process of de-identifying with one way of being and moving into a much more holistic, self-aware, and present way of operating. But it's not comfortable as we move along, and the loudness gets more. It gets more loud. It gets more apparent as you shine light, as more of you wakes up and says, what the hell? Who was labeling this twig as mine? That's not even mine. That's my 3rd cousin's, blah, And so you start to wake up and say, oh, that needs to be returned to that person, and that needs to be let go, and I would like to okay, so you're feeling this way, okay. And deciding I want to realign, I want to, this is the part where you've got to make the decisions. A lot of people are choosing to go to sleep here. This is where a lot of people say, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to go watch TV, or I'm going to go numb myself out. Or it puts them really on an edge of kind of psychologically, it pushes them to their edge. This is where the strength of your soul, the decision making comes in, and you decide that you're ready to really adjust your dynamic with all the things that have been stuck to you. And you're not a victim here. Let me be clear. You chose to be the sticky ball. You chose to have that sticky ball experience. You chose to have all the things be stuck to you and to play with that. And now you're just there for a certain group of people in this kind of wave of awakening. They're beginning to have the opportunity to choose differently. But it takes cojones. It takes bravado. And it takes the gumption within your being to decide, hey, I see this dynamic, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to lovingly look at it. And I'm going to see my role in it, and I'm going to see maybe others or the belief systems or what have you, and I'm going to give it back. I'm going to reorganize. It's kind of like you've been working, if any of you have worked for the federal government before, working with archaic computer systems and operational systems and getting it done. And then all of a sudden some genius has an idea to like redo it all, and it's that learning, and probably you have this in corporate America too, but like you have one system that kind of sort of worked, you dealt with it, you limped along, but it got it done. It'd been around for 40 years, but whatever. And now you're transitioning to this new, faster, brighter way of being, but nobody really knows how good it's going to be. And so this is kind of where we're at. We're in this, well, this way kind of sucks, but we know how to do it, and this requires work and learning, and we're not really sure how it's going to go. But probably in some ways it's got to be better than this old way, but this is going to take a lot of effort from point A to point B. And so everyone's kind of having their own version of a hissy fit, hemming and hawing back and forth. And so what will make your journey easier in this process is just freaking deciding that this old way wasn't working. You're tired of it. Just check in with yourself. You're fucking tired of it. You don't want to run your system like this anymore. It doesn't work. You're tired at the end of the day. Okay, let's decide to do something new. And then once you make that decision, it gets a lot easier to just start to cut out the BS. I've said this in other ways, but hopefully this little journey here is walking you through a different kind of vantage point here. Okay. Yeah, so I think I've covered, don't label. So when you see stuff coming up, what I'm watching happen is a lot of us are in this in-between state, and our psyche wants to label all the stuff and make it louder. But what's happening actually is we're having new framework, imprints, connections coming in. These past, honestly, 7 days have been very potent. The psyche wants to be kind of super basic and be like, oh yeah, that goes here, that goes here, that goes here. I'm gonna go take a nap now. Wake up. Look at the shit coming in. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It needs a whole new category. It's not the old stuff. None of the old framework, none of the old stories will ever match up to it. It's too good for that stuff. It is like the whole next level of who you are coming in and waking up. So be conscious when you start to feel the old stories spike, when you feel that deep, heavy, like weighty pull, or that sense of like something's behind you. Open your eyes, take a deep breath, and start to look around. You don't have to play into the old stories anymore. To be honest, like there is maybe 2% power to the old stories now. And the only thing keeping it active is your own choice and your own absence of devotion or dedication or commitment or attention to the new. It is up to us to row our boats. The universe provides the ocean and a boat. It's just us to row ourselves along. No one else can do it for you. No one else can. It's a one-person boat. You're not alone. There's a team of a bunch of other beings and souls who are on the journey with you in their own little boats. But you have to row your boat. No one's going to come save you. You have to wake up and choose. Choose to row your boat. You've got this within you, because it's not that, oh, this is so hard and it's so heavy. No, it's just your power. This is how you bring your power in with each row. You are bringing your life force, your light, your essence back into your body. You are saying no to the old conditioning, no to the old enslavement programs, no to whatever belief system that held you back. And you are rowing yourself away and into the new. So I don't think it needs to be said, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is the opportunity here to mature and to grow. We are next leveling. It requires a whole new skill set and awareness. There will be people who want to remain where they are. That's fine. That's their journey, you know? But if you're dissatisfied and you're kind of riding your edge of like, oh my gosh, I can't live like this, I don't know what's on the other side, the only way is to decide within your being that you're ready. Having that deep conversation on a soul level that you're ready, and then just taking the steps each day. And so leads me into my next point. I was sitting outside yesterday meditating, kind of talking to the sun, like feeling the sun's rays, and I feel it, you know? I mean, it's a heaviness, stories come up, the memories, the emotional patterns, the chemical like processes that kind of happen in the body. And I decided in that moment, like, I had kind of like what the Southerners term, like, come to Jesus with myself. And really, it was like the Christ itself within me. And I was like, you know, I'm ready to move beyond this. What do I need to do? And I was guided, you need to take an action. And I wasn't quite ready to take the physical action, but I did it in my mind. And I started to play it out, the scene of me acting out that higher expression. Opening up when everything within me wanted to close down, I practiced opening up. And do it now. Like, practice opening up to that thing that you want to or wants to shut you down, or you want to shut down, where you want to like curl up. Practice opening up, and I kid you not, within like 10-15 seconds, my heart started going. I started to see a lot of sacred geometry happen. But that doesn't matter. The chemicals in my body started to shift. I was flooded with those endorphins and the dopamine. I could feel the actual shift. I've been dedicated to my work. And this is the shorter window is a reflection of the dedication to the work. It's an everyday, live it, breathe it. Here I am. And I say this to let you know that is an opportunity for you as well. Your journey isn't going to be the same as mine, you know, and it is my intention by sharing these things that it is greatly shortened for you, and that a lot of the bullshit that I took myself on, that it's not part of your journey in the same way, you know, but to each their own. But within 15 seconds, by just deciding and then playing it out in my mind, I then was able to change my chemical composition, which then led me into a different state of being and a different frequency. And then when that different frequency started to come in, I was able to, you know, kind of open up my world. My perspective started to soften. The things that were sitting emotionally very much on the surface, kind of like hot and edgy and like a hot wire, began to soften, like get their coating and settle in, settle down, get grounded, feeling safe, feeling supported. Okay. So explore with the question, like, what is it like to? So begin to slowly lead yourself in there. This is part of the ego and the psyche. You know, they're very structured. They like to be in one kind of stable place. Change is a big fear for these programs within our being. So start small, start easy. What is it like to? And explore whatever that is. Insert your what is it like to. What would it feel like? What would it be like? I really want to be angry at my husband, my partner, my significant other right now. But what would it be like to like not be mad at them? To like give them a hug instead of angry dagger stares, you know? Or what would it be like to wake up each day feeling lighthearted? That might be too general, but like really it's about changing something very simple, kind of small, in your daily routine where you know it has a pivotal effect. So a lot of times we play that out in relationship, and so if we are having something challenging come up within us, it typically plays out in a relationship dynamic. And so by shifting that dynamic physically with your significant, basically someone you have a relationship dynamic with, by shifting that, it immediately comes back in for you. So it's kind of a double effect. It's a stronger effect, and that can be with anyone that you have that kind of a strong bond or dynamic with. I mean, parents, children, siblings, friends. So play with that. I'm just going to use the emotional example right now, but for you, find that, what is it like to, and do kind of the opposite. Go into the higher frequency, switch the radio station from this frequency to this one, or this one, whatever is accessible, and just see what it's like in your mind, in your body. Give it 3 minutes and just see what happens. And then I would do that several times throughout the day, especially as we go through, because this is part of the reprogramming. This is part of the reprogramming, but so much of us, just be aware, is going to be in that resistant, like a kid being drugged into a store with their mom, and that's going to be the energy. And this is where we're being called to mature and be the wise parent, grow ourselves up, and help to pull, to guide, to lift that part of ourselves that's in resistance, lovingly lift it forward and keep stepping forward. So don't be overrun by the loudness of the resistant 2-year-old within you. Okay, and so a couple other statements here. So, take a look. This is also part of your awareness, what I talked about before. Take a look at what's not working anymore. What's just not working? I find 3 things. 1 to 3 things. Find 1 to 3 things that is draining you, because that's what's happening right now. A lot of us are like kind of being drained. We're becoming aware of where our energy is like being siphoned off, or just in like it's hemorrhaging. We're becoming aware of it, and it's just overwhelming. So pick 1 to 3 things depending on kind of what they are and how what your capacity is, and look at those things. And instead of complaining internally, either in the front of your head or like deep inside, like that deep complaint, feel into that different solution. So this is a different way of saying what I just said about what would it be like. Feel into a different bandwidth of it, a different expression. Ask for the healing, do the healing around it, and then feel into this, find the solution. I mean, I can say it a lot of different ways, but find the solution. You have to be proactive with this. This is, again, you rowing your boat. Be proactive. If your boat has a hole in it and no one else can get on the boat, who's going to plug the hole? You. And you've got it. You got all the tools. You got the skill sets. You know how to do it. You know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, then you get the support. You ask for the boat police to come and help you. I don't know what their names are, but you ask for support. You get one-on-one sessions. You do the meditations. You do the work. Figure out how to plug your hole. Oh my God, the analogies today, they're just so good. So you plug the hole, and then you're able to keep going. But find the solution. Be the solution. That's really at the core of all this. And then this is how we grow. So I know I've talked a lot about, well, I haven't. Basically, it's be the solution. You're rowing your boat. If you feel off, if it's hard, welcome. You've got a part of you that's just, kind of like this. That's okay. We're going to help it mature. And there's a lot of new energy coming in. Our bodies are being rewired. New realities are being birthed around and through us. And you're not alone. Find your community. Share the things that you need to share. Get the support. You're all right. You are all right. And you're going to get even better. You just say yes to your soul growth, one step at a time. Okay, so any questions? And take all this, keep what resonates, release the rest. grow roots out of your feet, anchor this down all the way to the core of the earth, and make sure it updates with your crystal in the core of the earth, and bring it back up into your body. So you're carrying this information, this new can-do frequency in your body. You hold, believe it or not, you hold the ability to turn the radio station dial to whichever one you want. You're just learning how to do it. The radio station's right here in front of you, your bandwidth, and then you can just change it at any time. It just takes practice. But it's here and it's becoming more and more available. All right. So much love for each and every one of you. Remember, support. If you need the support, the weekly group healings on Saturdays are a very powerful, very potent way to connect in with the group dynamic. I'm offering the one-on-ones, and we'll be starting up the next offering of the mentorship experience called Expand, probably in late August, early September. So just keep those things in mind, and all my info is in my bio. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and be well.